All right, guys, welcome back to another video. So this generation, we've talked about this throughout the first 3 years or so about the difference of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. And objectively, the Xbox Series X is the most powerful console right now that you can go out and purchase. That's until a PS5 Pro comes out or a Pro version of the Xbox. If that does happen, the Series X right now is the most powerful console on the market. And there are certain things within the Series X that people have been waiting for. The tools. We heard about the tools. Everyone was always referencing the tools, the RDNA 2 architecture within the Series X and having all of that stuff available to it. And one of the things was mesh shaders that, when utilized, will make games look better than when they aren't fully utilized. And Alan Wake 2 is out, and Alan Wake 2 is looking like it's going to be a Game of the Year candidate. It's one of the best looking games I think people have ever seen. And there is a major difference here between the Xbox Series X version and the PlayStation 5 version, which could be the thing that sets apart this generation in terms of the GPUs between those two consoles. Digital Foundry did their analysis, and they are showing here that the Xbox Series X version outperforms the PlayStation 5 version. It says here, a new technical analysis from Eurogamer's Digital Foundry shows that the Xbox Series X version of Alan Wake 2 outperforms the PS5 version on several occasions. We had last week the first comparison here from El Analista Debates showing that there was somewhat of a difference. It was small, but there was a difference between the PS5 and the Series X version of Alan Wake 2. But this new comparison is showing a significantly bigger difference than the El Analista Debates one. It says here that, as can be seen in this technical analysis, performance in the game's performance mode is roughly 20 to 25% better on the Xbox Series X compared to the PS5 version, whereas the Xbox Series X version offers nearly a stable 60 FPS in performance mode. The PS5 version appears to suffer from dips to 49 frames per second. So stable 60 FPS versus dips to 49 frames per second. Generally, when we see these comparisons, I'm usually looking at it in the sense that if there's like a 5 FPS dip in a random spot within that game, it's really no difference, even if one is slightly more stable by a couple of frames. But an 11 frame drop difference, there is obviously some performance differentiation there between the Series X and the PS5 for the Series X to be able to keep it at that stable 60 frames per second. They say, meanwhile, in the game's quality mode, we can see a locked 30 FPS on the Series X with occasional drops on the PlayStation 5. And why I think this game is so telling as to why the Series X is more powerful and what the tools that it does have, it will be able to have a better opportunity to run these future games at a stable frame rate compared to the PS5, is because of how good Alan Wake 2 is and all the stuff that they are utilizing within the game. It's probably the best looking game from the graphics that we have seen. It says here that today, OllyMac takes a look at the Xbox Series X and S versions of Alan Wake 2, and there are still bugs to address, but the Series X is a treat, ironing out most of the PS5's performance dip, and the Series S is necessarily compromised, but still well worth playing. So obviously Remedy just did an overall great job optimizing this game for the consoles. They also say here from Alex Paglia saying, good to see raw compute of the Xbox Series X be meaningful, really stable 60, while PS5 can be like 49 FPS at the same moment. And it's that raw compute power, the teraflops everybody talked about at the beginning of this generation, they're finally coming into fruition here with this game. Now, the other thing as well was the mesh shaders difference that we did talk about earlier. And that Digital Foundry did say that mesh shaders could be that thing that differentiates the last gen or the current generation GPUs versus the previous generation. And we do know on the Xbox, they do use the full mesh shaders, whereas on the PlayStation 5, it is only using primitive shaders, and that's another difference. So I feel like this is going to be something we will see more of going forward, and why we have seen rumors of the PS5 Pro that has yet to be announced. I do believe there will be a PS5 Pro. They will not want to be falling behind here, as developers are really starting to finally utilize these current generation consoles. It always takes a number of years before the developers fully see what's available and then be able to pull out the power. We always see games look far better in the mid to end of the generation than in the first few years, where a lot of those games are still cross-generation. They're still developing using the old tech. So we will probably see more of this going forward, and it will be interesting to see if the next gen games will have this performance gap here between the Series X and the PlayStation 5. Now, when it comes to a first-party Xbox game, Bethesda announced a big thing here for Starfield, and it is an update. They say the update will feature NVIDIA DLSS support with frame generation display and HDR controls for supported systems, and other optimizations and improvements. You'll be able to opt in to try it via the Steam beta options. We'd love your feedback before it goes live for all PC and Xbox players after that. Stay tuned for the specifics soon, and thanks for playing. Now, the interesting thing with this update is that obviously on the Series X, you're not getting NVIDIA DLSS. So why would they be including this in that update? Well, they clarify. They say, note DLSS is for PC NVIDIA users only, but will also have AMD FSR 3 support in a future update. So it looks like AMD's FSR 3 will be coming over to the Xbox version of Starfield. And again, it's another one of these tools, another one of these future technologies that we were hoping would be implemented into games, and they are slowly coming here. It's 2023, probably still have another 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years of this generation. And I feel like as we get closer to 2027, even starting next year, we're going to see a lot more of these tools making games run and look better on these consoles. And finally, we'll be able to say, this is why we purchased the Series X. This is what we were waiting for, as games are starting to look better. Now, when it comes to a big partnership that Xbox has entered into, we know that they are working with Sega, and we saw all that thing about the super games, or the super game that they have in development, wanting to utilize the Xbox technologies, their cloud technologies, to be able to put these games out. And we have a bit more information here about the first super game that they are developing. This was announced back in May 2021 that a super game project will span AAA titles that cross over Sega's comprehensive range of technologies. And they say go beyond the traditional framework of games. Nobody really knew what that meant. It's just kind of this jargon out there to get people excited for upcoming Sega games. They continue here to say that the entertainment contents business has set a long-term goal of becoming a leading global content provider. And to achieve this goal and elevate the business to the next level, we are conducting R&D activities to create a super game, a major title that scales globally by the fiscal year ending March 2026. And we haven't really heard anything else about that other than that they're making it for March 2026. And they can, now we have a bit more information about the development. They say we are also making steady headway in development of the super game that we are seeking to create in the medium to long term. As the name implies, super game involves a concept of a game that stands head and shoulders above normal games. It says, I encourage stakeholders to look forward to the fruit of our efforts, which include R&D, to create a game that builds a whole worldview involving the entire ecosystem, including not only players, but also streamers who stream the game and their viewers. So that sounds very ambitious. It sounds different, obviously, than kind of other stuff that we've seen. It probably will be some sort of metaverse, maybe not an actual metaverse, but like some sort of universe within Sega where you're kind of going in there and wanting to play it probably every single day, wanting to go in there and achieve something every day. Streamers will get rewarded for streaming the game and probably interacting with other players within it. It'll probably be one of this big metaverse style of games that they are looking forward to. And they have a huge investment here. And as we know, like I said, they are partnering with Xbox, and they mentioned the super game to use their technologies. And I wonder what this will mean going forward, if this is going to be something that has some sort of exclusivity with Xbox, if it's going to be something that launches into Xbox Game Pass, to do marketing with Xbox. I feel like if they are using those technologies, that would make complete sense, especially with the relationship that they already do have. I feel like if you're entering into a partnership like this, you're going to want something in return if you are Xbox, we've seen things like Phantasy Star Online 2 coming over to the Xbox console. So I do see huge games that Sega are creating, focusing more on that platform. But we will see. I mean, it probably will be PC, it probably will be multi-platform. But at the end of the day, just what does Sega have up their sleeve? What are they working on here? It sounds very, very ambitious, and it also sounds like it's going to be something that is its own little world in video games as they are trying to expand out and do more stuff. They put out their Sonics, and Sonic has been cool. Like, it's been good. The most recent one has been decent. They released it alongside Super Mario Wonder, so completely got destroyed by that as it didn't sell well whatsoever. I'm not sure what they were thinking there, but I like Sonic Frontiers, and it looks like they're going to be continuing in that universe, but Super Game is going to be probably something completely different. Now, let's talk here about some improvements coming to Xbox apps. If you ever use your Xbox to like watch movies and just do web-based things on there, the apps on there are pretty slow. They're pretty cumbersome, and it looks like it's finally going to be getting an upgrade. So we have this announcement here that Xbox is finally going to be letting the Xbox app developers to use the Chromium-based Edge rendering engine for media apps and for HTML5 games. They say here that Microsoft is finally allowing Xbox app developers to use the Chromium-powered version of Edge to improve their apps. Support for Microsoft Edge's WebView 2 on Xbox is now available, allowing Xbox media app developers to embed the latest web technologies inside Xbox apps and improve performance. You're going to see games, you're going to see stuff here where that WebView 2 control that uses Chromium-based Edge rendering instead of the older Edge HTML browser engine. You're going to see probably a lot faster, snappier apps than we currently have on there. You're going to see games within these apps because you're going to be able to include the HTML stuff. It says you can also include CSS and JavaScript into the Xbox apps. So there's going to be a lot of stuff here that we're going to see that wasn't previous there. It's going to improve the ecosystem. It's going to improve the quality of life. They actually even have a Make Code app that has games embedded in it thanks to WebView 2 control. All of these things is just overall going to improve the ecosystem, where I never used Xbox literally for anything else other than playing games. And one of the reasons just the apps were not very good. I found most of them there were not snappy at all. They would bog down, they would slow down, and just wasn't a great experience. So hopefully this is something that we will see completely change the types of apps that do actually release on to the Xbox store. If you want to use it more of your entire entertainment box, you want to make it the one thing that does everything for you in one place. Now let's talk here about this updated roadmap, because this is pretty insane. This is pretty phenomenal here from Xbox. You take a look at Clobro here, updating some games in here with the Activision stuff, with Blizzard games, and we are right now in 2023. 2023 has been just an absolutely phenomenal year here, starting with Hi-Fi Rush, going through the Starfield and Forza Motorsport, and then we got everything else in between, like H2 console version, H4 console version, the Quake 2 remastered. I mean, Redfall people were excited for, obviously had a bad launch, Minecraft Legends, so it's just been absolutely insane. And we're still, before the end of the year, getting Killer Instinct remastered version of then Modern Warfare 3, which is a first-party Xbox game, which is coming out very, very shortly. So those games have been added, plus a bunch of other Blizzard games at the bottom here. You see the Blizzard Entertainment titles. And this here is just crazy. I mean, you look at this roadmap, and you would have never thought Xbox would get to this point if you were somebody who's been there from the beginning, but mainly if you were somebody who went through that Xbox One generation and stuck with the platform. Sticking with the platform is absolutely paying off when you see the amount of games that are in the works and that will be releasing on a year-to-year basis. And talked about this the other day when it comes to PlayStation. One of the biggest things is right now, I don't think there really is an argument. I don't see how anybody can argue against the fact that Xbox has a far brighter future right now based off of the roadmap that we are seeing compared to the PlayStation platform. PlayStation, we know games are going to be coming out. We know Wolverine's going to be coming out. We know they're going to release another Last of Us and another remake of Last of Us and some more remakes of God of War, and God of War DLC is coming out as well. Like, all of these things we know are coming out, but it is the same titles essentially that we've seen over and over again. And there is no official roadmap as to when to expect that content. We can't sit back here at PlayStation and think that we know that 2024 is going to bring 5 first-party games that you're going to be able to jump into. But with Xbox, with these roadmaps that we are seeing set out, with the amount of studios they have, just visually looking at it, it's absolutely insane. If we thought 2023 was good, look at 2024. Towerborn, Hellblade 2, Flight Simulator 2024, Era History Untold, and Avowed. And that is without any other special announcements that they usually do throughout the year. You think of a shadow drop like Hi-Fi Rush. You think of GoldenEye finally getting out. Just that alone is going to be another phenomenal year at Xbox if they do all release in the year. So very, very bright future. I just thought this roadmap, looking at it from a visual perspective, was just absolutely insane. So I just want to bring it up and talk about it. And we know acquisitions. We know that they are going to continue to roll. And there was another one that was just announced. This is obviously a smaller one, but Devolver Digital has acquired the Astroneer developer system Air. And Astroneer is actually a pretty cool game. I haven't played too much of it. I dabbled into it, but my wife played a ton of it, and I know other people that have played a ton of it. And it's a very, very good game for what it is, an exploration, a building game, collecting resources, that style of game. So this is just another acquisition, and I think we will see many more announcements like this, smaller ones, bigger ones, as we go through to 2024 and beyond that. And then finally, let's talk about an awesome update that is coming to Grounded. Grounded, an absolute success that what probably would have never gotten off the ground if Xbox didn't give the okay to Obsidian to take a risk and make a game like this. And Grounded here is releasing a new update called Make It and Break It, which essentially is allowing you to take the game that they created and then build your own game within it. It is that forge for Grounded, which is super cool because this is the perfect game for that. It's essentially like it's a Minecraft style of game. And now it's going to be really easy with this new update to do whatever you want. They say here, what if we could design and build our own critters, habitat, create new ways to fight them off, or even build new game experiences entirely? That is precisely what the Grounded Make It and Break It update allows you to do. With the brand new Playgrounds mode, you can craft your own levels from the ground up with a suite of design tools at your disposal, using either the pre-existing backyard or an empty sandbox at a starting point. You can craft buildings, place obstacles, furniture, and even creature spawners that'll drop enemies wherever you'd like them to be. You're also going to be able to create puzzles, mini games, battle arenas, whatever you can dream up. They say it's a new addition that will revitalize the backyard, and we're fortunate enough to get a sneak peek of the tools. So this, I think, is going to be huge. Grounded was already very big from a game that pretty much nobody saw coming and being as successful as it was. This here is going to make this a game that people are playing literally, I think, forever. It's going to be on that level of Minecraft. Now, will it make as much money or be as popular as Minecraft? No, but it will be on the level where we're going to continue to see just creative stuff coming out of it all the time. And if you jump in, you'll always have something new to check out. So I think this is very, very cool that they are adding this. It really was a no-brainer as the game was already like a building, collecting the type of game, and you're breaking down resources. So being able to now make games, mini games, puzzles, all the type of stuff, we're going to see some really creative stuff come out of it. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.